Oh my gosh,
Fundamentals.
we would be the bad boys of Little League. I'm telling you now, we would beat the tar out of the other team.
I'm just gonna go out and say it. Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has to be.
More. I mean,
has to be.
Dramatic, man. That was a journey.
Man, I'm gonna get real theological on y'all. I think we're all a little soft and misunderstood. I'll just be real honest.
Get Luke Combs. I was begging for Luke Combs not too long ago. We'll get Luke Combs on here. I challenge Luke. I think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the cojones to come on and try, then by all means, Luke, bring it on.
That's the intro. You just hit my promo for me, James. I love it. It's crazy. What's your all's take here? Yeah.
Like, even if, I mean, that's the only option for the coach to leave. But what's like, did they get the what did MSU or SMU get the?
They got
like
the death penalty from NCAA. Yeah.
Is that what's happened? Is the hammer swung, or was this?
This is the
Was this-
board of. This is like the chancellor and the board of New
So,
Mexico.
okay,
So
they
it's not
did it
NCAA.
themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, oh my gosh.
I told you.
I don't know.
Vibes down. Yeah.
I don't even know how to. What do you do?
I think you do exactly what New Mexico State did, and that's we've got to shut this down and like clean house. Like you got to clean everything at this point.
I mean, do you think NCAA is going to step in, or do you think they're going to just be like, "Hey, they handled it themselves"? Or, I mean, this team represented part of the NCAA in the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, they can look at it like that, I guess. I don't see how the NCAA can't step in and kind of add on to this. It's just,
What would you? What do they do though? Do you shut the program down for instead of just a year for 5 years? Do you take away scholarships? Like, what do you?
I don't know. What's the death penalty for a basketball like program? We've seen it for football, right?
Yeah, 5 years with SMU.
Yeah, and wasn't there some with Penn State too?
They talked about it, but they didn't. They just revoked postseason eligibility for 4 years.
I mean, that's a start. I mean, if they were going to step in, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what a wild story. I guess I've been living under a rock because I had no idea this was happening.
Devin Fitz, yeah, go ahead.
Did the kid that got shot? He died?
Yeah. 19-year-old.
Well, just looking at this Coach here guy, he definitely looks like a cover-up guy.
He looks like a cheap version of Calipari, like the
Yeah.
Italian mob version.
Yeah,
You get more Italian.
Yeah, you can't. If you go cheap version of Calipari, you're in trouble. Not a good descriptor.
No, that's pretty wild. Yeah, it sucks for everybody involved, that especially the guy that was getting hazed, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's just one guy or two. Like just one guy spoke out, and he didn't want to press criminal charges. He just wanted to kind of go on record, that's fucking wild too.
Balls on that guy, though.
Yeah, for real.
Damn.
Which I feel like hazing in this world, you don't hear about it a lot. And I feel like you just can't do it. There's cameras, there's people everywhere. It's just like, it's not like the 80s or 90s where like, oh, let's haze the rookie, let's haze the freshman. Like you can't do it in today's world, I don't think. I'm not saying it was right back then either, but
Honestly, I'm surprised it went on for as long as it did with like these young guns and social media.
yeah, for real, exactly.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, this is pretty wild.
I got nothing, man. Gosh, it's just tough. I mean, I'm thinking of, I took a trip out to New Mexico not that long ago, and it's number one in crime rate. I mean, it is a weird culture to be in. So I don't know if that has an effect in the school, but just doesn't seem good for those kids or that student body.
Yeah, not good for the culture at all. Tim, you sound like you were gonna hop in there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're fine. I can't remember what I was even going to say, so it must not have been important.
So this guy, the Pete kid, hasn't been charged either.
No, I don't. They're the 17-year-old girl that like lured him out through text messages got charged, and like two other people who were unknown got charged. I haven't read up to say like what happened. It's probably bad hosting and like being a sports media guy, but like yeah,
No, this seems like a story you can't really get on the front end of,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no saving face when all this has already come out to light.
Exactly.
I remember what I was going to say. Barker, kind of on your comment about the hazing, it baffles me that that's still a thing. Like I look at, we kind of see it in Hard Knocks. I mean, that's the first example I think of like in training camp. They make the rookies like the Lions. They made the rookies like lip sync a song, or no, they were singing the song and dancing to it. Like that's harmless. It's fun. It's not sexual assault
Yeah.
or like financial hazing. I really don't. There were some stories that came out about like, oh, the rookie pays for O-line dinner or something, and they're left with 35 grand bill or whatever the heck it is. I don't agree with that, but like that's an example of what you could do. Like why does this hazing at a university level involve this for a sports program? It's kind of, you start thinking about it and you're like, wow, these guys are just effing idiots. Like they're just dumb. Like how is this happening?
I think you're absolutely right. It's wild.
The coaches on paid leave too.
What?
Well, all right, he was, and then they fired him yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But you're right. He was, and like all the staff's on paid leave though. So only the head coach has gotten fired so far.
Jesus.
I haven't found anything like reports of exactly what happened. I'm sure those won't come out till months later, if they come out, because you're dealing with 18, 19-year-olds. Who knows? But crazy. Any other thoughts for New Mexico State here?
Sorry, I'm reading this, so I'm like speaking as I go. But apparently they called it self-defense, or that's why he's not been charged yet.
Yeah, with Mike Peake. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes, I guess, kind of sense why he would be not charged.
Well, and I remember hearing about it in November and thinking, yo, that's wild. That's a wild story. And then like fast forward 60 days and it's like, oh, this story just got a lot fucking weirder.
So Fitz, you were saying New Mexico is pretty bad crimes?
Well, Albuquerque itself.
Okay.
It's the number one. It's the number one crime rate. I only know that because my roommate's living down there now.
Well, I heard
feel like
because
I
of a guy
should know
named
that from,
Heisenberg.
Yeah, I was going to say Breaking Bad. Read a
I was
book.
waiting for it.
Yeah, Breaking Bad as well. Yeah. But
Mr. White. Yeah, also great Super Bowl commercial from Popcorners. Don't want to spoil it, but
Also, popcorners are delicious. So dude, white cheddar.
You get the residue on your fingers and just a little extra. When you think you're all out, you get a little bit more. You got 5 more right here. I love it. All right, let's get the vibes back up. Let's talk a little NFL here. We're going to talk about a brand new coach. Philadelphia Eagles lose their boss man, lose their DC, I should say. And the Colts gain a brand new head coach. Shane Stations gets the job. He gets the promotion. First-year head coach coming from Philly, led that defense to pretty damn good year. Now, wheels fell off second half Super Bowl. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Eagles lose both OC and DC within the Super Bowl. Really lose 3 things. That's tough. But how do you guys feel about this hire? He's another first-year coach. He's on the younger side. He's a defensive-minded guy. Unlike Frank Wright and some of these other hires that they've made in the past, maybe this is the right move they make. What's your all's thoughts?
My first question is going to be, who did he like mentor under? Is he like a Belichick guy, or is he like
who's his
question?
I'll look that up here real quick. That's a great question. I don't know whose coaching tree.
Yeah, who's he a disciple of?
Right.
It says hired as the defensive assistant for the Chargers in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell is Rob Chizinski? He worked under Rob Chizinski.
Already not looking good.
All right, he was part of the 2014 through 2020 Chargers, so like Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen.
It says Ken Wisenhunt.
Ken
what it
Wisenhunt,
says.
yeah.
That crew.
Which I mean,
I guess that's it. I mean, he's young.
He's Wisenhunt, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really have anybody.
Yeah, because in 2011 was his first coaching job.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's really interesting for the Colts. Like, I mean, you're basically taking a chance on they think this guy's for real, even though he doesn't maybe have like a whole lot. They're kind of getting him while he's hot. And hey, yeah, you just took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Granted, they had a lot of talent on that defense that they went and acquired. But yeah, nonetheless, he still made them a premier defense. So I guess that's why you take your chance.
Oh, and
I don't know.
apologize.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I misspoke. He's the OC. He's the offensive coordinator.
Oh,
So
okay, that
my
makes sense.
apologies.
Because I was looking, man, Ken Wisenhunt, he's offensive.
Yeah, that's on me. I was thinking of Arizona's Jonathan Gannon. He's
Okay.
Eagles DC, so that's my fault.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so Herbert he helped train. Obviously with Jalen Hurts he was with. So offensive minded guy. I take all that back.
So does he get credit for designing the QB sneak that formation that has just been unstoppable?
No, that's God. It's because he made a quarterback squat 800 pounds. That's just all Jalen Hurts, baby. The real quad father.
Yeah.
Wild. Tim Slate, any more thoughts here?
I mean, I think this kind of goes, well, you always hear the draft speculation and what teams are going to do. I mean, I think they're definitely they got to go quarterback, right? I mean, they have a higher pick and they have an offensive-minded quarterback and they have no real solidified quarterback. I mean, they're going to get he's going to have his picking almost unless they trade up or someone tries to jump him with the Bears pick. So it makes sense.
And I saw talks that they're looking to trade up for possibly like Bryce Young. And maybe that's part of the discussion because they've just got, it's like this guy had so much success with Hurts, so now he needs that Jalen Hurts for his offense. So maybe that's why the trade up conversation has begun, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're an offensive-minded new head coach and you almost have a fresh slate, I mean, I think this is a good spot for him. I'm more interested to see how Sirianni kind of, adapts to this because, this is his second year. He made it to the Super Bowl, but he's had his team. He's had his guys. So let's see what happens next year when he's got to get new staff or staff have to change positions. How does the team or really how does Sirianni kind of keep things under wraps? So I'm kind of curious about really the Eagles too, with them losing both.
Yeah. And it's I think that's a good point, Tim. Like, I think Eagles are going to feel this effect, I think, a lot more than the Colts. And this quarterback draft, I'm not very high on. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, you got CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, but to me, I don't know if they're ready to make that week one start. Like, I honestly don't. Fitz had his eyes kind of bulged out at me right there. I'm just not impressed with any quarterbacks.
Caleb Williams? Or is he in the draft?
No, he's got one more year, right?
He's got one more year? Okay,
It's Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Hendon Hooker, but he's coming from ACL. Will Levis keeps getting shoved down our throats. University of Kentucky's quarterback. Yeah, he's terrible. Okay. Like I'm not sold on.
He's been getting shafted lately.
I'm just a big Caleb Williams guy, and I thought he was in it. So
I'm pretty sure he's not. I don't.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I think he's got one more.
He came back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wild times, and we'll talk about a veteran quarterback who maybe could make this team, but we've seen Colts try to pull on veteran quarterbacks, and it hasn't worked for them for the past since Andrew Luck. But we'll talk. Now, with the head coaching hires, all 5 vacancies are officially done. They're wrapped up now. What's your all's thoughts here on these lists? Who wins? Cardinals get Jonathan Gannon, Eagles DC. Frank Wright comes back home to Panthers. Sean Payton got hired to Denver. DeMeco Ryans gets coming back to Texans. And then Shane from the Colts. Out of this list, if you had to rank these top 5 hires, how are you guys ranking this? Like, who won, who lost these head coaching hires? And are you like me who's still like, what about Bieniemy? like he's proven himself over and over again. He's getting shafted for these jobs. What's your all's thoughts here?
Sean Payton, number one.
Yeah.
I think he's miles beyond the rest.
Yeah, for sure. I like D'Amico Ryan, so it's a biased pick. I would say he's a comfortable 3.
Yeah.
Like
I
he
think that's
does.
good.
Like, Texans are kind of in a spot where it's like you can only really get better.
You can only go up. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know that much about the rest of them.
Panthers.
Except Gannon.
Panthers should have kept their guy.
Oh, I 100% agree.
You know,
and to
I
go
think
with
that's
Frank
why.
Reich.
I think that's why the Frank Reich one doesn't jump out. Is you're like, well, yeah, you already had your coach in Wilkes.
And
So,
I don't hate Frank Reich, but to me, I'm ranking him 5th right now. I just he's tried and it hasn't really worked out for him, and I don't know.
It's so Tepper is so confusing. I know I've ranted about this whole like have an identity and stick with it with the Panthers, and it's like you have the players come out and say, "Hey, we want to play for him."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a proven after CMC left, and everyone's like, "Oh, their season's done." They shocked some people. Why make this move? It's a classic Panthers move. That's the only way I can describe it. Is like, oh, it doesn't make sense, or oh, there's low hanging fruit. Let me try some fruit that has been thrown on the ground and kicked on a few times because it's different. It's like, no, you just keep Steve there. Like, what are you doing? Just stop.
I've literally tried my entire life to like the Panthers, like not even like be a fan, and like they're just, I just hate them, dude. Like, there's no redeeming quality to being a fan of the Panthers.
It's like the Godfather quote, but the opposite. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. But every time I think I'm in, they pull me out.
Like the Wilkes thing, I was like, man, that's exciting. That's awesome. Like it'd be great for the state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
they botched that one.
I just wonder if they're just like, you know what? These people want him. Fuck them. We're doing the opposite of what people want. We want to win games, not this organization. Not this year, baby.
You thought.
You thought.
You're still going to buy them tickets, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Well, any other head coaching thoughts here? Is there anybody who got passed up that we feel like, I mean, obviously I said be enemy, but anybody that comes to mind for you guys?
I just wish Greg Roman would leave so that we could hire somebody new at OC.
Oh, man.
No. I think the enemy is probably the biggest one.
Okay.
I kind of see, I don't know, when I kept seeing the news about the enemy getting passed up, it just reminds me of like McDaniels in Belichick. And it's like, how many years were they together? And I know he had like a couple stints. He had one stint in Denver, and then now he's with the Raiders. But like, I don't know. I think him and Andy may be a little more tied at the hip than we all kind of think.
Yeah. I think you could be right there. And Devin, did you not hear the news yesterday? You have a new OC, man. Todd Monken, UGA's OC.
Yeah, dude.
No way.
You got air raid, baby.
Like rip tater chip.
Yeah, so
hell yeah. That's awesome.
If only you had a quarterback playing quarterback instead of running. No, I'm just kidding. Like this scares the hell out of me. Like now you actually have a competent OC that's like, let's use our quarterback. Let's let him
well now we have an OC that'll let him actually throw it.
Exactly.
Check down routes and all this other stuff. So
yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. I bet Lamar would have thrown a better Hail Mary at the end of the game than Uncle Rico back there.
Yeah. I think you're right. All right, boys. Let's move on. Let's talk about before we talk about the Super Bowl, we'll tease there. Let's talk about Derek Carr. One more week of Derek Carr talk.
That's the edger, dude.
I'm tired of this guy.
Yeah, well, he's officially released now. We talked about, what's possible moves, where could he possibly go? Some names have come up with the Colts. I just don't see the Colts turning back to a veteran quarterback. I, I'm not surprised they released him because he wasn't going to be traded. He has no trade clause, and he was going to deny every trade. So he wanted to pick his own destination, which I respect the hell out of. Arizona came up as a possible suitor for him. What's your all's thoughts here? Where's Derek Carr signing? You got a gun to your head.
This would be classic Carolina move. If we want to talk Panthers,
Yeah,
is not to draft a quarterback, but take someone's sloppy seconds and try to turn them around.
Good point there, Fitz. Maybe, I don't know if this is even feasible, but how do you guys feel about the Texans? I'm kind of thinking how the lines were, where we got Goff, but almost the rest of our team was super young. I mean, the Texans are very young. What if you brought in Derek Carr to kind of teach the young guns, but I mean, not a lame duck, but kind of like a Goff situation. He's not the long-term solution. He's got enough experience for the young guys. What do you guys think about the Texans? Yay or nay?
I like it. Now they're not on the list that came out.
Oh, I forgot. Well, screw the list. What do you guys think?
I don't know, because his top two, he's visited the Saints already, and then New York Jets to take the MILF Hunters job, and then they have Commanders and the Bucks in there as well.
What if
I like the Texans though? I think it's a good point for the Texans. What are you gonna say?
What if he goes to the XFL? For the Vegas Vipers.
Doesn't have to move. It's an economic move at that point.
Right.
I love it. Slate, any thoughts on Derek Carr here? Big car guy, I know.
Huge. No, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Go Texans. Good job, Tim. Way to spot that one out.
Yeah.
Not even on the list, but I'll take it.
I love it. All right. Let's talk Super Bowl. Finally, it's here. We can talk about it. We'll talk everything you guys want about the Super Bowl. Halftime show. The world is your oyster. Let's just make the most of it. Chiefs bring it home, 38-35. Amazing, incredible game up until the last minute. I enjoyed the halftime show. I like Rihanna. I like pregnant Rihanna out there singing just ballad after ballad. Forget how many bangers she had, right?
Yeah, I've had work on replay all week. Just had that.
I think it was 14 and 13 minutes. 14 songs, 13 minutes.
What a goat. What a goat. Now,
or may have had that backwards. Either way.
Not as good as last year's halftime show. I will say that. I did like the old school Snoop and 50 and Eminem, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. And any and all thoughts of Super Bowl, halftime show, actual game, whatever you guys got, let it rip.
I wondered, someone asked me right after the game, they didn't really watch football, but they knew I was really into sports. But they were in the podcast. I'm sure they knew about Pub Sports Talk. But they were like, where do you rank this on the scale 1 to 10? And I thought it was a great question. And I really considered it. I was like, I mean, score wise, you think that, a field goal deciding a game, that puts it above certain Super Bowls, you would think. But I don't know. I think how anticlimactic the ending was just kind of brought it down a lot of notches. I also don't think, was there a defining play? When you think of Super Bowls that are in your top, the helmet catch, the Santonio Holmes catch, just usually there's a play that stands out. Even the Broncos Panthers, you think of Cam Newton fumbling the football, and Von Miller. Like, I don't know that there's a play that really stands out other than the penalty. Like
I think it robbed us of it because you got to think no penalty. Chiefs have a decision there. You kick it or you push your luck, and then you give the ball back to Hurts with 50 seconds to go, and maybe there's your moment. Maybe there's your helmet catch.
yeah.
But
So I really did.
really
I gave it a 6.1 out of 10.
Mm.
And I thought that was like, you know, it's like based on how the game went and the score. The only thing is there wasn't much defense, and I'm a bias. I like defense.
And
Like
it's
I
funny,
think the
both these
best. I think
defenses
the
are hot.
best. I think the best Super Bowl of all time was the David Tyree catch Super Bowl. It was like what was the final score? At 14-10 or something. It's like I want a defensive struggle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I would say 6.5. I mean, 6.5, and I think that's just because it, like, some Super Bowls you go in and like people are done watching by the third quarter. It's just boring, snooze fest. I mean, at least it kept you in it till the very end.
Yeah.
So I mean, it had redeemable qualities. Yeah, I would say 6.5.
Yeah, I've definitely thought like today's game. It was really good, but I said it before. You know, when I'm getting on this theory, I think we should get fewer human refs. Start bringing in some of these chatbot AI, you know, and I got to thinking about it more. You know, AWS is always stat that. What if AWS, Amazon, starts a program with their AI on, you know, reducing these stupid calls that haven't been called the whole game? Why would you call it in the final 2 minutes? So, like, I don't know. There needs to be less of the human element with the refereeing. Otherwise, every year there's going to be the same conversation. It's not going to get better. Tell me a situation where people are going to start saying, "Oh yeah, the officiating is great." There's so many games every week, and there's so many weeks that people are going to point out, "Hey, terrible officiating. What is happening?" And it's only going to get worse until the NFL ditches the humans. So ditch the humans, NFL.
You know what's crazy though? I don't remember bitching about the officiating this bad this season, like in recent memory. I look back to last year and the year before, and maybe I'll have to listen to the old tapes on Pub Sports Talk here, but I don't really remember me bitching about officials this bad. But like this, especially the playoffs, have just been it's been shitty officiating. It's been terrible. You know, like I'm with you, Tim. I'm with you. Let's get the AI robot in there. Let's let them officiate because they can't do any worse. I'm over it.
I mean, the AI is going to be more consistent, right? Like that's the problem with this is like, yeah, you can call that, I guess, if you want, but like call it in the first quarter when it first happens to establish that you're not going to let the players do that versus when the game's on the line.
Yeah.
I think if you get some artificial intelligence in there, you know, a little more consistency, and you take out the bias factor of like, you know, shriveling up and hey, I don't know. Just some thoughts.
No, I like it because I thought the official actually I'm gonna backtrack my statement a little bit. Up until that point, I thought, hey, officiating's been good. They've let the boys play. Like, not a lot of flags. And then all of a sudden you call that. I've watched it. I don't know if it's technically a hold or not. I don't
see. The problem is, I remember watching. I think there was a Packers playoff game like this a couple years ago. I can't remember if it was last. It might have been against the Niners or it was Buccaneers. I can't remember. But it's this idea that in the playoffs, all right, we're going to let them play. We're not going to call anything. And I think it's a recipe for this to happen. Is like you don't call anything in the game, and then it gets to a critical situation, and now the corner who's been able to do that all game, they're just kind of like they're not going to resist on it, and then it's just obvious, and you're like, all right, we haven't been calling it all game, but now we have to like it kind of puts you in a bind where I think like if early on you're like, oh, that's a hold and you're calling it, then it'll kind of naturally work itself out where it's like, okay, I can get a little handsy,
Exactly.
but I gotta back off. So that's the problem. It's like when people go, oh, let them play. It's like, well, it's like you let them play, but you gotta call it in certain time. Like you gotta
gotta be
know
consistent.
like where that line is. Yeah. And they didn't define that line at all in the early part of the game. So
And Devin, you're a defensive guy, and I'm an offensive guy. I look at that. I wouldn't even bitch on the sideline. That's a hold. Like I didn't see anything about that. Like fuck. Like I got robbed there. My guy got robbed. He got held. To me, I don't think it was a hold at all on the defense.
it was a hold.
don't-
It definitely was a hold.
I
Well,
don't know, man.
yeah. I mean, it's a hold, but I mean,
I don't think it
so
affected it.
Mike Pereira he kind of talked about it on the Rich Eisen show, and just I mean, obviously to get the officials' perspective on it. You know, he's like, yeah, the officials are trained to hold it. So when in doubt, just hold it. You don't want to be quick on the gun with the flag. And that was kind of part of his defense was, yeah, that's why the flag came in late. You know, they're trained to, you know, get what they see, but then don't rush to it and then until, you're situated. I get that, but that doesn't take out the fact that the ball sailed over their head. It wasn't a playable ball. So like, just hold the flag. If it was a contested throw, then you could definitely make the case, okay, like, you know, maybe the route was clearly affected by the hold and therefore the receiver had trouble catching the ball when it was in contention. The ball had no room to be caught. And that's the problem is then the flag goes flying and you're like, wait a minute. Whoa. You know, and I, you know, we're all saying this and we're not on the field and we're not refs. That's the last job I think I'd want on this world. But I mean, don't throw the flag. If it happens in the first 5 steps of the route and then the ball's not even in contention, like you've been letting them do it all game, just let it ride. I don't get it.
It's also just like when can they just pick flags up? And that's what I wonder, Tim, with your what is this the cyborg theory that you wanna have cyborg officials, your Amazon?
No. Cyborg implies that cyborg implies that there's half human. I want no human. I don't want any human dictating the rules of the game.
Okay.
He wants the robot.
How close are we to having robots on the field and then they go to the Mike Pereiras or the Gene Sterators who they're in like a TV room because our cameras catch everything.
Yeah.
So like it's like we do need someone to like throw the flag, but then like Gene Sterator, you have the final say. You got the screen in front of you, be like, no, pick that flag up. Like that's not holding. Because I think part of it is like, and we've kind of evolved to it. Used to be you throw a flag, penalty. They're not going to pick it up. They're not going to have a conversation. So like, I think they're starting to rely more on like, we're going to go to New York on this, but it's still far from perfect or far from ideal.
And what blows my mind, I think it goes back to Tim's point. I think it solidifies it that like when they have these guest officials on who like help with the commentating and stuff, and they're like, yeah, you know, I don't really see this, you know, being a catch, or I don't really see this being a flag. Let's wave it off. And then they're like,
problem is those guys are getting paid. Those guys are getting paid more than the refs.
Yeah.
And I think they're actually wiser than the refs. Like Gene Steratore and Mike Pereira are like they're some of the best at what they do. So so that's kind of frustrating. Is our best aren't even on the field, and who can blame them? But just makes you think there's another way we can do this.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I'm with Tim.
I'm hitching my horse to it.
See, I put it on the dang shot clock or whatever. Gosh,
I think the issue is like if we go around and just basically hunt for penalties, we're going to be in baseball situation where the game's going to take 10 hours.
Yeah.
So like how do you train it to have any sort of like, oh, well, he held his jersey. It was that's pretty cut and dry and pretty binary. Like, I mean, it's very yes and no if the jersey is getting held.
We need some like advanced AI, like know the situation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
That's why we need cyborgs. That's why we need cyborgs, Tim.
No humans. Get the humans out. This is what you do. You basically give an AI literally NFL films. You just give them NFL films and you define, okay, if the ball is going towards the hold, you call the hold. If the ball is going away from the hold, you don't call the hold. And then as soon as the ball goes, if it's in the direction of the hold, beep, 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 beep. All right,
Man,
that's 10 yards. Get them back.
It just shuts down all the lights to red.
It's just
So what do we do for the offensive line?
Yeah, because
What do
that's
you
tough. You gotta have to have 5 AI robots sitting and looking at each position.
Yeah, each individual one, and there's going to be a hold on every play. If not,
no. That's why you have to define it. That's why it's like, if it's a run play and there's a hold on the right tight end, but it's running left. Don't worry. You acknowledge the hold, but that doesn't affect the play. So then just scrap it. Scrap that hold. Don't need it.
Hey, you're a sinner. We held every fucking play.
Right. You do hold, but you have to have that one human that goes through and defines.
so that center is going to be called for holding every play
because he's in the middle
toward the direction of the run.
oh my god!
See, now you guys, I'm not an IT guy. I'm just giving you ideas.
Yeah.
So, Amazon, if you're listening to this, let me know so I can do some insider trading, get some more stock before you do artificial intelligence. Because this is what the game needs. Get rid of the humans. Get rid of them. Tired of them. Humans stink.
What are we doing? The robots turn on us and they try to take over the world. So
then we turn to XFL. Yes, from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to save us.
It's going to turn into robot football. I don't even want to watch humans play anymore.
Yeah, too many human errors out there.
I mean, have you guys ever played Mutant Football League? You can literally kill the ref.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Mutant Football League.
I'm going to look up it. So we figured out. We put Tim, Jeff Bezos, Devin Slate in a room, lock the door, and we have our solution eventually.
See, here's the thing. I don't want Jeff. I want Elon.
Okay. The Twitter king. We can do that.
Mm.
We can get that done.
I was thinking more SpaceX. Maybe we can go to the moon.
Dude,
Play a
the
little
ball would go
game.
for miles.
With all our robots and cyborgs. Robots versus cyborgs.
Super Bowl 69. I love it. Man, I got to give my flowers to Coach Hollingsworth, who I teach with and coach with, and then Jeff Neville from Franklin Times. They're both Chief fans.
Oh.
And, I started saying this, and the more I say it, the more I started to believe it. So I'm on this bandwagon too. The Chiefs wrote a beautiful script that Roger Goodell approved, and I'm here for it. So.
Yeah. Am I coming in clear?
So, yeah.
Am I coming in clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Thought I lost you guys for a second.
No, I was saying I believe in the script of the NFL. That's all. I started saying it as a joke, and now I firmly believe it. So.
Well, if you have an AI bot, then they can just tweet you the script, and that way you know ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need. All right, let's do pub parlay, guys. Let's make some money. For like 3 weeks in a row, we've got 2 out of the 3. Now there's 4 of us. And there's always power in 4s here. There's always powers in 4s.
Time to get 2 out of 4.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, Kane's got drugs. I'm sorry about that. So,
that was the one we missed, but that's okay.
Yeah, was not expecting that. It was beaten.
I wasn't either because they were up in the second period, and then third period happened, and they got fucked. So there's 4 of us now. I feel good about this. We can go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you guys want. Let's just make money. Let's go back to our winning ways. We have the return of the king, Devin Slade. It rivals the return of D. Rose when he's come back from his ACL injury. So this is awesome. No pressure.
I actually now feel bad for maybe taking this, but I'm going to the Stadium Series game on Saturday. Canes are playing at Carter Finley, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Canes. Just straight up money line.
I love it.
Ovechkin's out too, so even better odds.
Yeah, dealing with his father's death. Hate it for him. Love it for the Canes though.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Love it for the
Oh,
Canes,
Devin.
Damn.
Are you going to the game, Slate?
Yep. I got a ticket. I'll be there.
Lucky SOB. All right, Canes money line Saturday.
I got is my bookie keen on XFL right now? Because XFL starts Saturday, and I'm trying to put.
They were last year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whichever one. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and then I'll.
If not,
let's go.
We'll talk to the boy Raphael.
Right.
What day are we doing?
Saturday. Hey, yeah, we've got some XFL action here.
Ooh. Can you when Evan's done, can you spit a few of the odds and I'll pick one of those? I don't have the
Oh man. This is tough.
Evan, you gotta pick something. I mean, your draft of doom has been working.
My basketball picks. I'm gonna follow my gut. I'm gonna take 9 Baylor over 5 Kansas at Kansas.
Wow.
Upset on the road.
Yeah, and I don't know not necessarily an upset. I mean, it's 2 teams in the top 10, so it's a tough game to pick on because both teams are good. But my gut just tells me Baylor.
All right. Tim. All right. So we get the Vegas Vipers taking on Arlington Renegades. Renegades -2 favorite. Orlando Guardians against the Houston Roughnecks. Roughnecks -1 favorite. St. Louis Battlehawks taking on San Antonio Brahmas. I don't know what the fuck's a Brahmas. Battlehawks -2.5. Seattle Sea Dragons taking on DC Defenders. DC Defenders -1.5.
Yeah, give me the Sea Dragons for sure.
Just based off the name.
Well, I like the unis best. They got this like orange and like Nessie green on their secondary color. It really does remind you of like a sea dragon. So I'm cool with it.
I'm looking this up right now. All right, they're pretty fire.
They're pretty lit, yeah.
I'll get behind that. I like it. I'm gonna take UK basketball to beat Tennessee. It's in Rupp Arena, so it's a home game for the Wildcats. Give me University of Kentucky to beat Tennessee. That's a good old-fashioned rivalry. Upset pick at home.
Okay.
I like it. Oh, Tim, how could I be so forgetful? Your cup. Do you want me to send the package for you to pack it up for me?
Did you win?
That's right, baby. That's right. Pick the Chiefs and had the closest score, too. The cup's coming home. Sitting on the shelf, baby. Sitting on the shelf.
Is that 3 points? Is that what we did?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I needed.
You won it.
Like,
congratulations, Parker.
Thank you. I'll never let you forget this moment. So just let you know that.
I actually lost it. I don't know where.
You son of a bitch!
It was in there. I just don't know what I did with it.
And then I guess our next one's going to be basketball and hockey. And then Devin hopefully is back with us and he doesn't go missing again. And then he could get a crack at this thing. I guess so tired of putting your face on posters.
Spring training's coming up too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, they're going to implement some new stuff. You want to talk about it real quick? You got some time.
Yeah, we definitely can. So biggest thing that they are implementing is the timer on the pitch clock, and I don't remember the exact on the pitcher. I don't remember the exact numbers. It's like if there's nobody on base, it's 15 seconds. If there's, I think somebody on base, it's 30. It may be a little bit more if, like, it's a bases loaded situation. But basically, they tested it in the minors last year, and it led to basically more offense, which is what the MLB wanted. So basically, a lot less strikeouts, more hits. Pitchers probably getting wore out a little bit faster. Games obviously going to go a lot faster. So that was the biggest change. I thought they'd already done it, but I read somewhere that reemphasized that in extra innings, instead of nobody being on base, there will be a runner starting on second base.
I thought that
So
too.
it just emphasizes trying to get the game over a little bit quicker, because sometimes those extra inning games can get a little lengthy. I think last year they had quite a few of those in 15, 16. So for the most part, I think it's fine. I'm interested to see if there's any more pitching injuries with it. Obviously, last year is the biggest. This is the only time they've really tested it, so it's not like really the only issue would be pitcher longevity, I think.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think it's cool. Hopefully, it gets more people invested, because I know it's not always fun to watch a defensive ball game or a baseball game. So
yeah, no, I love it, and they also made the bases bigger, right? Did I read that right?
I think so, and I think that's just a protection thing. More room for both players to be on the bag at the same time, and still either produce the out or get there a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
When are they gonna make the robot? Is that coming out?
So they're actually starting to do it. I think they're giving. This is another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I think they're doing like a challenge. So I think they tried it in one of the fall leagues or whatever. So basically, obviously the strike zone is like kind of a 3-dimensional thing. So they've got that already drawn up per the player. So it's like basically knees to tit is basically the strike zone. And the coach can throw a challenge flag. So if there's something that's kind of iffy, they'll go back to the robot, and they can either call the guy out or ball. I'm not a super huge fan of it, because it's just awkward right now. So like, you got a batter who it's potential, like let's just say it's a full count and the ump calls a ball. The coach can throw a challenge flag, and then it's all of a sudden, all right, never mind, you're out. So there's no like actual excitement. It's very delayed. The guy just like kind of walks back to the bench. Nobody's like super fired up. It's very awkward. If I can find the clip, I'll send it to you. But it's kind of hilarious.
I'll put that up.
Love it. Yeah, we need more of that.
More of it.
Just put the robot back there. Don't even.
I think it would be so much easier for them to do it in baseball. I think baseball is probably one of the most egregious, like, because they always talk about like pitchers and batters working the umps, and that's just to get more favorable calls. So, yeah, I would be 100% okay if they did that.
Yeah,
the umps are typically, they get on my nerves anyway. There's one in particular, but they can't let him go because of the MLB has like one of the best umpire unions, so they don't like fire anybody.
Damn.
Or like the MLB can't say like this guy's doing a shitty job because the union does such a good job of protecting its employees.
Maybe just get him like an office job. Like you make it sound like a title, like a raise, and it's like, man, just gonna sit your ass in that corner right there.
Oh, yeah, I'm still trying to find it. Freaking.
That's wild. All right, do we got a random question?
Ooh, I thought of one earlier, and I think I was quoting some. Give me one of your top 5 favorite movie quotes.
That's
like
tough.
maybe one, like And I was thinking of it today because like every now and then I'll hear a movie quote and I'm just like always trying to throw it in somewhere, and maybe people get it, maybe they don't. I'll kind of give you the example. So I watched Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers not too long ago, and we were having a meeting about some money stuff at work, and someone said like, "Oh, that'll cost thousands," and I gave them like the Christopher Lee like tens of thousands. And nobody got it. so that is one of my favorite movie quotes. Like, even if the wall is breached, it will take a number beyond reckoning.
Yeah.
Thousands to someone to keep. Tens of thousands. One of the best. That's one of the best.
That's good.
I like one that always throws people off. It's, if peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
that one's a great one.
Oh, what an old lady.
Man.
Gotta love her.
Man, mine. I had a random one recently. It's in what is it? A Few Good Men. Tom Cruise. Kevin Bacon sees him at the bar. It's just a good insult. He goes, "Hey, you're a lousy fucking softball player, Jack." And it's just like random as fuck. It's just like, what? It's just Cruz being Cruz, but just, you're a lousy fucking softball player. I think that's mine right now.
Oh, that's a good one. I just every like week or so I just get Boo Miles in my head. What am I supposed to do without my knee? I can't do that. I practice and I practice.
We're supposed to go to the pros.
You from Midland, right?
One of the funny parts of that always gets me tickled for some reason is like his is it his grandpa or his uncle?
His uncle.
His uncle was like doing like the most weird face, like he's trying to. He's like, and I'm like, what the fuck are we looking at?
It's so right. It's so right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah.
Bad moment.
Good question, man. That was awesome. Oh shit, man! It felt good to get all four of us back. This is the OG crew. This is what the world needed. Man.
Yeah,
Good, man.
Good to be
Miss
back.
you, Matt. Yeah, good to
R.I.P. Matt.
R.I.P. Matt. No, Matt's on the R.I.P. poster.
We'll pour one out to Matt next time.
Yeah. I love it. God, this just felt right. All right, hey, have a beautiful weekend. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe we'll go back to Wednesdays, boys.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. If it gets us Devin, I don't mind. All right.
I think I'm clear for a little bit. So
Sweet.
Bye.
Have a wonderful
You're a
day.
lousy fucking softball player, Jack.
Oh my gosh. We would be the bad boys of Little League. I'm telling you now. We would beat the tar out of the other team.
I'm just gonna go out and say
For
it.
the days.
Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has to
One
be.
more.
I mean, my hair's getting
Has to
wild.
be.
My hair's getting out of
Yeah, I'm gonna
hand.
get real theological on
How
y'all.
long you
I
going?
think we're all a little soft and
I'm
misunderstood.
just letting it ride, Tim.
I'll just be real
All right.
honest.
Ride the way,
Get
though.
Luke Combs. I was
Let it
begging
ride.
for Luke Combs not too long ago. We'll
I
get
see
Luke
those
Combs
old
on here.
clips, though.
I challenge
I had, like,
Luke.
no
I
hair.
think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the
man.
cojones to come on and try, then by all means, Luke, bring it on.
We get Luke Combs.
That's
on
the
here?
intro. You hit my promo for me, James. I love it.
That dude sounds like a wild time.
Dude, he was fucking fun.
She got the best of me.